What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Melodic, bringing you another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today we're here for UBL week number 6, and we're playing against Goldoa Dragon, who we play very, very rarely nowadays, but nevertheless we are playing against him and his very interesting team. If you guys want to skip the team builder, there's a timestamp on the screen and in the description. Also, just want to say, the way Goldoa builds is like you have no clue what is coming. Okay, I should beep out the F word there because it's in the first like 10 seconds of the video and it's going to make me demonetized. But either way, this team that he has is interesting. Like the top end talent, top end Pokemon of this are like Kartana, Volcarona, and Como, which is like not the best in terms of well, compared to Garchomp and Clef, and I guess Slowking, but hey, it is what it is. He's doing decently well. 2 and 3 is not bad. We're only 3 and 2, so just one game goes the other way. We have an even record. Let's go and jump into it. His team is, though, very scary with, like, the aforementioned 3 Mons I was mentioning, which are very scary in the matchup. There's also Rotom Wash, which is annoying to deal with. Seismitoad is his ground type. Ditto is a bigger problem than you'd anticipate because my team relies on some setup with whether it's Clef or Crawdons or Silvally or Garchomp even. So honestly, it can be tough to deal with that Pokemon. Webs from Slurpuff are going to be annoying. Persian is the top of the totem pole for speed at 115. And honestly, I have not beaten Alolan Persian in my last, like, 4 tries, so not great at all. But let's jump into what we are bringing to this week's battle. Starting with our first Mon, it is going to be our Clefable. Now, Clef is here. Clef is one of my answers to Kartana to stop it from getting out of hand, because my team really has a lack of answers for Kartana. Life Orb is scary, Swords Dance is scary, anything that's allowing it to switch out its moves is very scary. We have the Berry with Unaware, which means that I can actually take a Life Orb Kartana's Smart Strike after Rocks because I do have the Unaware and because of that Berry. Moonblast is there as a way to chip down everything. It does like 40% to Kartana, but mainly the thing I'm doing against Kartana is Thunder Waving it. I Thunder Wave it and then it's not a threat at all. I can beat it down with the rest of my team, and that's kind of the main focus. Encore is there as a backup, mostly for the Volcarona. And the reason for that is because Volcarona, it can go for sub rather, but it can also go for Safeguard, and those are definitely 2 possibilities that I think could be coming. So if I go for Thunder Wave on it, then it's going to probably start setting up a Quiver Dance, and I go for then Encore, locking it into that. I can break the sub and then just kind of pressure it that way with something else, which again is kind of my best option against the Volcarona. Again, not the best situation to have it, but I do have decent answers to Volcarona with this and my next Pokemon. This is my next, I'd say, 2, this and like 4 of my next 5. Anyways, in general, this Pokemon is very solid. What it does in terms of the investment, it allows me to take that Jolly Life Orb Smart Strike, like I said. We also take 2 Jolly Como Poison Jabs as well, and our special defense take a random special hit. I think it was like 2 Moonblast from Gardevoir or something like that, or take 2 Volcarona Fire Dances or Flamethrowers. So yeah, moving on, our next Mon is going to be Archimedes, our Slowking. This is one of our checks to the Volcarona. Sludge Bomb Psychic, Earth Power, when I say Earth Power, Power Gem, and Grass Knot. Oh my god. You can tell I woke up about like an hour ago, not even 30 minutes ago. But yeah, the set is decent here. It hits a lot for really good damage. I want fire coverage on it really badly, but I just can't fit it, and it's only for the Kartana. I'd rather weaken the what is that thing called? Seismitoad than the Kartana. So we're going with Grass Knot over the fire move because Psychic 2 it kills Kartana anyways. So why not go with that over the Grass Knot here? In general, it's just a really solid option for my team. It takes a lot of hits. It's a special sponge, it's a physical sponge, does basically anything I need it to. It takes 2 Scarf Jolly Kartana Smart Strikes, takes a Jolly Scarf Kartana's knockoff as well, and we take a +1 Jolly Como's Earthquake on top of that, and we 2-KO No Bulk Kartana with the Psychic. Like I said, that's what the investment in our special attack is for. Next up is going to be Ben and Jerry, our Vanilluxe. This Pokemon has a phenomenal matchup this week. Oh my god, look at his team, look how weak it is to Ice and Freeze Dry specifically. The only Mon that like resists Ice is going to be Volcarona. And that's it. So, and potentially Ditto. So I can go for Freeze Dry and hit it for really good damage. Water Pulse is like 40% to max HP Volcarona, which is huge. Obviously, I'm probably not going to click it very often, but if I can chip down the team, if I can get his rocks, and we find out he's not Boots, and Goldoa has a history of not running Boots on his Volcarona, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's going to be our Vanilluxe. In terms of speed, it has enough speed for the Persian without, well, with our Scarf, but that's really it. I'm expecting to keep the Scarf on the entire game, so I'm not running any speed for anything slower, and I don't expect anything slower to be running a Choice Scarf, so we feel pretty damn good. Next up is going to be Pineapple, our Garchomp. This Pokemon has enough speed for the Volcarona here. Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Swords Dance, and Protect. Protect is kind of like meh. It's mostly good to find out what the Ditto is going to lock itself into, whether it's Earthquake or Dragon Claw. I do have answers to each of them. Not good answers to each of them, to be honest, but I do have answers nonetheless, and if I'm actually healthy enough, then the Earthquake will be, I'll be living the Earthquake, which is the main focus here, so that is something to note. This Pokemon is really good. If I get to +2, I can just win. If there's no Ditto, and if there's no Scarfer, +2 will just win, especially if Kartana's gone. That's really it. So I feel so damn good about my chances with this Pokemon. It's really good in this specific matchup here, even though Josh, who's going to be commentating this with Owen, does not want to hear that. Next up is going to be Silvally. Fallen is back with the Lumberry this week. Multi-attack, Flame Charge, Swords Dance, and Defog. Originally, we were Facade over Defog, but Webs came, and it was very annoying for me to win. It was very, very difficult for me to get the W because I could not revenge kill Kartana, and it, like, swept through everything. Same deal with Como. Life Orb Como was a problem. So Defog is there to get rid of the webs. Don't know if they come or not, but it is something you have to be prepared for in this instance. Multi-attack is really good, has two resist rather, in Kartana and in the Archeops, that's it. But if I get Swords Dance off, oh my god, it's not going to matter. I'm going to destroy things. This Pokemon has speed 4 at base 85s, which is the Como, disrespecting Rotom just a little bit. But either way, it's a really solid Pokemon, and we do have enough investment that we take 2 max special attack Timid Volcarona Flamethrowers, and we also take any Life Orb Kartana attack except for Sacred Sword or Secret Sword, whichever one it is. And yeah, Lum is there in case of the Rotom Will-O-Wisp or something like that. That's really the main focus, or Thunder Wave from, I guess, Persian or whatever it's going to be. Our final mod is going to be Durian. Our Ferrothorn is back. I hate Ferrothorn. Yeah, I really don't like Ferrothorn, but it's decent in this match. Wow, let's try this again. It's decent in this matchup. Body Press, Knockoff, Thunder Wave, and Stealth Rock here. Rocks are there because it's pretty likely he's not going to be running a Boots set on his Volcarona because he has a history of not running Boots on Volcarona for like the past 4 to 5 weeks. So I feel decent about it. If it does run Boots, then fine. It's good knowledge to have. Thunderwave is there so we can paralyze things like the Como, like the Volcarona, obviously, and the Kartana, the main threats. Also Gardevoir, I guess, since we're not running a Steel move to hit it for super effective damage. Same deal with the Grass moves and the Seismitoad, but the main focus is to just weaken. If I can weaken Seismitoad to like 60% if it's max defense, or like 70% if it's specially defensive, then, or even mixed defenses, then I'm in a good spot. So I don't need to just get the KO outright. The main focus is going to be to spread hazards, spread status, knock off, body press to break Como sub, which is really the main focus. And our investment in special defense allows me to take a modest Gardevoir's Mystical Fire, and the rest is in defense to max out my body press damage. That is going to be our team for this week's battle. Make sure to stick around for the battle itself because we have Owen and Josh commentating. Once again, you guys seem to really like them last time around, so thank you to them for joining once more. Secret word of today's video, we're going to go with, I don't know, ranch dressing, because yesterday was the Super Bowl and I had chicken wings with ranch dressing. So let's do it. It's time to battle.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Josh, a good player. How are you doing today? We're here for another video for MattOshea and UBL facing off against Goldoa Dragon. Looks like Goldoa is going to bring the Alola Persian, the Seismitoad, almost said Swampert, the Seismitoad, the Gardevoir, the Rotom, the Kartana, and the Ditto. So he brought like one of his high tier mons, and that was it.
I do know that Matt was super stressing on Volcarona when I was helping him build for this match last night, and I see why Goldoa didn't bring it, and I told Matt this too. I definitely think that Mr. MattOshea was a little bit over prepping for it and a little bit scared. I'm glad we ended up changing up some of the things that we did, because he would have had half of his team built for Volcarona that did not end up coming whatsoever. So that's definitely good to see. And another thing to keep in mind too is that Como isn't there? There is no freeze dry resist, and the blizzard resist is quite literally just that Rotom. So I think an endgame where that Vanilluxe goes crazy is definitely a possibility.
Oh, don't worry.
He's actually going to lead it right here.
I see a freeze dry resist. It's called Ditto.
Yeah, which unfortunately doesn't resist anything, especially when it's copying a Vanilluxe's bulk. But we'll see how this ends up going. I think that the no bulk is going to be really nice for Matt.
Did y'all see that?
What now?
Did y'all see Goldoa's trader card? It's just like a crap ton of caution tape hiding a screaming Cramorant.
Hey, that's how we felt last week after Mr. Sally Mumble Subtoxic. we're gonna have Vanilluxe come out here against the Persian. This is a free blizzard if I ever seen one. I'm dropping one.
This is gonna hurt.
We'll see if he ends up. He'll definitely live this hit, right? Because it's Scarf and not Specs. But this ship is phenomenal for Matt, especially in like a Garchomp endgame or something like that, because this is something that is going to naturally, be able to pivot into Garchomp, especially because he's not Scale Shot and either threaten it out with a Foul Play or a Technician Icy Wind or something like that if he's not Fur Coat. So they're definitely plenty of options. We are going to see the Blizzard come out. How much does it do? It's dead. Holy shit.
Yeah, that means that means it was speed and probably defense invested, because you want to invest in the defense of the Fur Coat. So very interesting. Matt with his big old pog face there. I understand. That's a very nice drop. That is a very annoying mon to have around.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'll spend his entire team too. We are gonna see the Gardevoir come out, presumably Scarf if I had to imagine, but unless it's tricking here, I don't think Matt's in the worst position in the world, and you might even be in a position where you can stay in Blizzard. I do think that risking that trick is definitely a little bit scary when it comes to that Glow King. So he does have to be careful about that. We'll see what he ends up going for.
I don't like staying in just because of how little you'll do if he decides to Scarf Mystic Fire you.
Oh yeah. No, that's
so
definitely fair.
That could be very, very scary.
But like, the only thing is, if he does lock that Mystical Fire, you're obviously not going to be O-code, and you can kind of pivot around it accordingly. Maybe getting your Garchomp for free once you see that this thing is Scarf, and not go that Glow King, and potentially letting that Seismitoad for free to get up free rocks and things like that. We see that it is not Choice Scarf, so it's going to eat up this hit.
Oh my god!
Oh man.
that is Spadef Wish Protect crap. Oh my god.
Or it's like AV Guard. I don't know. We'll see if it's not leftovers. I almost lean to thinking it's AV. Yeah, that might be AV because that absolutely munched on that Blizzard. Holy crap.
Bruh, Nino Nakano, calm down. Okay, I like the Glow King play here, even though it's like very obvious and Goldoa could like take advantage of it. I don't think there's really anything Goldoa has that's going to like threaten this. Oh, so he does go for the future sight. I do like the AV idea you came up with now. I know AV can be like that. And also it's Trace, so it could Trace Regenerator off this thing pretty easily.
Yeah, the only thing is, obviously, he's going to have to be very careful about doing so, because he doesn't really want to switch in on a Glow King that checks him very well. But if he does get in a position where something dies to Glow King, or he feels like he can double it in, get that regen, and then double out into a subsequent Trek, that's obviously very nice. Now, if you're Matt here, do you go for a Sludge Bomb, or do you go for a Grass Knot? I'm expecting that Seismitoad to come in.
I like what Matt's hovering over here. I like Psychic. I think it's a fair middle ground play. And, like, any damage off on this Guard Bar, if it is AV, is great, because it's just going to be permanent damage.
And the guard isn't going to beat this thing 1v1, unfortunately. We are going to see a Sludge Bomb come out. Now, the benefit to this is, obviously, he can still bait a Poison on something like a Seismitoad. I don't think Hard Cart comes out. That would be absolutely psychopathic for Mr. Goldoa. Seismitoad does end up coming out right here. So, we'll see if he can bait a Poison. But Matt doesn't switch into this Pokemon all too well. And that Future Sight's still sitting in the air. I suppose he does have that Kartana. But again, that thing taking Chip makes that Kartana that much scarier in the end game.
Goldoa has the Kartana, not us.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like Goldoa is going to make the end game a lot scarier if that Pharaoh ends up taking a bunch of Chip right here.
Yeah, that's fair. I am kind of wondering. Yeah, say if he was going to stay in, that'd be a very interesting play predicting rocks. Oh,
we see a sub come out from the Seismitoad. MattOshea, as surprised as we are.
Whew, there is no better feeling, y'all. There is no better feeling than when your opponent tries to sub on you and you stayed in to hit it. That is a beautiful feeling.
Oh, 100%. Something I think is important too is I believe this is the Future Sight turn right here. So this Glow King is going to eat it up, and this definitely puts him in range of an Earthquake. So he has to be very, very careful about that.
If it is Earthquake, I feel like it's probably going to be just based on Matt's team, but you never know. Like Earth Power will probably bounce off.
Oh yeah, it's doing 30%, 100%. So I think it's definitely a fair play to go into the Ferrothorn at this point, though. With that Future Sight not in the air, you showed that you're willing to stay in. You pop that sub. If I'm Goldoa, I'm probably attacking what's in front of me. And we also see that's probably not Stealth Rock, which I think is another important distinction. We do see the Earthquake come out. This is probably going to bounce off. It does a decent little chunk, actually.
I also like that Goldoa is trying to get the damage off on Slowking, not even just. What am I trying to say? I like that he's trying to get the damage off in it, not to get permanent damage off, but to scout whether or not it's Vest. Because now he knows it's not Colbur, and now he knows that Kartana is much more open. So that's actually really interesting plays on his part.
Another interesting play comes out here as he substitutes in the Pharaoh's face, which is incredibly aggressive. I guess scouting to see if he's going to overplay, get up his rocks, something like that. He is giving up a lot of health from the Seismitoad to do so, and I still don't know if he beats him 1v1, even though this is not a power whipping Ferrothorn, because he can just body press this turn and, get rid of that sub. Focus Punch, Seismitoad.
Let's go!
This is going to pop that Colbur, and that is, not that Colbur, that Choppel, and that is huge for a Kartana endgame in my mind. That's a really, really cool bring by Goldoa. Wow, I'm very much so here for that bring, because it just even if he's not Choppel and he doesn't know he's gonna pop it, if you can bait in that Ferrothorn, make it take that Focus Punch, like a Scarf Cart endgame is terrifying for Matt to deal with. So that's a really, really cool bring.
Did anyone else see that? Did anyone else see that Focus Punch do 20%?
Hey, it's doing some kind of damage. So we are going to see Matt throw off a knockoff. If he subs again here, pretty tough. And he's kind of shown that he doesn't have what do you call it either, power whip. But we are going to see an earthquake come out. The Ferrothorn is going to live, and I'm sure Matt's disdain and hatred for Pharaoh is growing greater and greater every day at this point, and he's thinking about switching out here, which is potentially fair, but we'll see.
I don't like the fact that Matt's throwing this way, because as long as you keep Pharaoh at like 35-40% and Glow King around, those two stop Scarf Cart from winning the game because it can't beat them both. So I really wish that he would have kept that around.
There is no steel resist up to this point now. No steel resist.
Does he have Flamethrower on Clefable? If so,
he does not. He has Thunderwave.
Ah,
he has Thunderwave Encore.
Ah, right. Of course, the Cortana counter.
The only issue is, though, it's unaware, so obviously it's not going to, have to worry about boost too much, but it is liable to get chipped down. Did we see a Komodo on
no, we have a Gardevoir, a Ditto, a Seismitoad, a Kartana. I didn't write down. Anyway, he goes
so
to the
we do see the Silvally normal come out, and just a very free multi-attack. And I will say this is definitely something about Goldoa's team that I notice is he really lacks good normal resists and switch-ins. I believe it was Kartana and then an Archeops on the bench, and there really wasn't anything else. So this multi-attack is incredibly free for
all right, so
for Matt right here.
All right, so it's Kartana, Rotom, Gardevoir, Seismitoad, Ditto, and a Alolan Persian, which died.
Yeah. And it looks like this Seismitoad is either going to be saved as a sack and something's going to take a fat chunk from a multi-attack, or just die from multi-attack into, like, Flame Charge in the case of Kartana, or he's going to pick up this KO on Seismitoad, which does look like Goldoa elects to, be safe and do that, which is honestly fair. I am surprised he didn't just load up a Focus Punch, seeing that this was Silvally normal in case this thing wanted to set up in his face, but regardless, Matt ends up just taking it out anyways. Not too big.
Definitely fair. I could see a... I guess, like, the worry is that he goes for Flame Charge here, predicting Kartana, and if he went for Flame Charge, he pops the Focus Punch, and then Goldoa is just in a really bad position.
That's true, because then it just got a free +1. And then it can probably, just multi-attack through almost the entire team at that point. I will say Goldoa is in a tough spot against this Pokemon in general, as we do see the Rotom Wash come out. Now, if you're Matt, do you throw up a big SD right here? Because you are Lumberry on your Silvally. I feel like the chip is almost worth it when you have that Garchomp waiting in the back.
I feel like if you're a normal player, you don't, but Matt has been so aggressive lately, he's gonna do it. I can see it in his face. Look at that determination. He's like,
oh yeah.
Oh.
He's just gonna multi-attack, and I guess this does at least give you that guaranteed damage in case he wants to pivot out the next turn. As we do see a pretty darn physically defensive Rotom right there. But thankfully Matt is the Lumberry, so he's not going to worry about this burn too much. But he does pop his item and kind of show that he's not a Choppleberry variant or something like that for the Scarf Cart. So again, more things to just kind of keep in mind. Is the Rotom's going to get a little bit of leftovers recovery right here.
Yeah, that is a very, very physically bulky Rotom right there. So that's very scary in my opinion.
The only issue is, again, this Glow King is incredibly free at this point. That Seismitoad, probably one of the better pivots into it, is gone. There's no Psychic Immunity at this point. And his Psychic Resist is Kartana, which is definitely scary. Very good Volt Switch play from Goldoa, grabbing a little bit of momentum, realizing that he's probably not going to let that Silvally either get burned or take any more chip after that first aggressive multi-attack. So pretty solid play there by Goldoa. Grabbed himself a little bit of offensive momentum and probably getting out into that Kartana.
What's unfortunate, though, is that both of his main ways of beating this Glow King are now dead, being Persian and Seismitoad. So I feel like this kind of forces Goldoa's hand now every time Glow King comes out. Long Cool. There it is.
Big Kartana comes out. Now,
no, it does
if
not.
you're Goldoa, typically you would
Small Kartana comes out. That boy ain't big. Look at how small he is. I could step on him.
Hey, he's trying his best. He's trying his best. He's trying his best. He's a little guy, but we're going to see Kartana probably just throw off a free knockoff here, and this is incredibly terrifying because if you're Goldoa, you're obviously thinking like, he could, be pretty physically defensive with this hit, kill me with a Flamethrower. But Matt doesn't have Flamethrower, unfortunately. He's got the Power Gem and the Grass Knot for the Seismitoad and the Volcarona. So
hey, don't
Matt's
worry,
in a really tough spot.
Don't worry, they kill. Kartana has like 4 Spit F. It's okay. Just click Sludge Bomb.
I know that Psychic. I do know that from Matt's build that Psychic does 2-hit KO, which is nice.
God! What a stupid Pokemon.
It does 2-hit KO with Psychic. And if you told me that 2K was Sludge Bomb, I'd probably believe you with Kartana Spadef. But he does know that, you know, this thing doesn't necessarily switch in, but being that he got the free switch with that very aggressive Rotom play, really puts Matt in a tough position, as he is going to go into the Silvally, probably being able to live a knockoff
yeah,
into
I like
the Sacred
this play.
Sword, potentially.
I really like this play solely because, like, burning your Lum earlier. I guess that's another reason if he was really thinking about it. I don't know if Matt thought this far ahead, but letting your item get burned in the scenario you're in with no Ferrothorn and everything means that knockoff is so much more obvious and it's easier to pivot into Silvally. So really, potentially super well thought out plan, or just really just
ended up working out. Yeah.
Good circumstances. I'm unsure. Matt is a smart cookie.
We're gonna see a pretty free flame charge here from Matt, I presume. I do know originally on his build, instead of Defog, he was Facade on this Silvally and a Chople variant instead. He was originally that, but then, you know, a little bit scared of the webs potentially coming in the back and getting hatched up on his field, which the webs were pretty detrimental to his game plan. So if he was that Facade variant, he flame charged and then SD'd in that Rotom's face, it might have been the game. We are going to see a flame charge from Matt. He was definitely contemplating that play, thinking that maybe this thing pivots out.
Ooh,
you see that it is not Choice Scarf, and the Silvally is going to drop. Wow, that's pretty tough. We're going to see a +1 boost.
And it's attack. Okay, so it's not the speed boosting set. So this is actually pretty free. No. Matt, you have something to kill this. Matt, there you go. There you go. What is stronger, a paper airplane or ice cream? We are officially 5-year-olds again.
But we are going to see a very free Blizzard. And I think that's very important to know that this thing is not Scarf. I'm not as worried for Matt at this point, because now he has a very free and opened up Vanilluxe endgame. Or at least as long as he keeps this Vanilluxe around, he won't lose to this Kartana.
I wonder if he was calculating whether or not freeze dry kills. Because if freeze dry kills, that's definitely the play. Because of Rotom still in the back. But even still, Rotom...
As long as that 2-hit KOs the Gardevoir as well. But to be fair, that Rotom taking...
Gardevoir at whatever it's at, 55?
Potentially. Because we saw the Blizzard do about 40. So yeah, you're probably right. That plus Hail Chip is definitely probably going to keep it in range. So. Definitely a fair play to just go for Blizzard, though. Being that Rotom's going to have to come in, take that in conjunction with a little bit of Hail. And it's just not going to feel very good, unfortunately, for... Goldoa here. So let's see what he ends up really wanting to go into. If we're going to see the Rotom, then that's a very aggressive play, but I could definitely see the... we are going to see the Rotom. Very aggressive, because if that Freeze Strike came out, I think he just lost to the move Blizzard on the spot. That did a ridiculous amount of damage.
Don't risk it.
Is that 2-hit KO range?
No, it's not. Don't do it, Matt. Don't do it. Matt, please don't do it.
I agree. It's very tempting. Matt goes for it, but this is a potential game-losing play, in my opinion.
No.
This is a potential game-losing play if this does not end up KOing the Rotom. Will Matt get the roll? Is it even a roll? This could be a guaranteed 2-hit KO from this range, and if it is, Matt just might win the game outright. If it doesn't, he's looking very, very tough against that Kartana if this Rotom ends up knocking him out. We're going to see the Blizzard. It is not going to KO. Please.
I hurt in my soul.
Oh, poor Goldoa. And the Hail is going to take out the Rotom. That's huge. Now, while the Hail typically would have taken it out anyways, him getting rid of this Vanilluxe would have really, really saved this endgame for Goldoa and giving himself a Kartana potential sweep there in a little bit, because this is the Scarfer. Chomp is not Scarf.
I wonder if Ditto knocks us out now. Because I think that's what Goldoa was going to do. I think he wasn't even going to try and risk Hydro or anything. I think he was just going to hard Volt Switch to put this in range of his own Ditto.
Though the only thing is, you have to think there's still an AV Glow King in the back. We are going to see the Gardevoir come out, and this thing definitely does live from this point as well. So there's quite literally no reason to keep this Vanilluxe in. Save this, Matt. Thank you. We are switching out the Vanilluxe this time, and probably just going to go a free Glow King.
Yes.
And, again, click a button.
The Glow King button.
Honestly, and as long as he keeps Glow King plus this Vanilluxe, I don't think he can lose this game at this point.
I know Goldoa is in a tough spot. Oh, Side Shock. Okay, that's fair. I was thinking that maybe he might double into Kartana just because, like, he almost has to really keep the momentum going. Because, like, that Hail Chips is really working him down.
Oh, yeah. So, we're going to see a Psychic potentially from Matt right here, which, you know, isn't the worst play in the world, because you can always regen out and be completely fine.
Yeah, it's also only Cart, Guard, and Rotom left, so he's trying to... Cart, Gardevoir and Ditto left, so he's just trying to set up his Blizzard endgame, I think. Which you don't want the Gloking to go down here, I think, because Gloking.
I question. Yeah, the Gloking stops the what do you call it from winning the game? the Ditto. So I don't think we should sack this off, and Matt is going to elect to give it up right here, which is definitely very interesting. I figured a potential Garchomp pivot could be the play. I get keeping, or even Clef, to be completely honest, because you don't, or no, you want to keep your Babiri, actually, and you want to stay healthy enough to where you can always take a Smart Strike and T-Wave that thing. So definitely interesting stuff.
I think we're going to see Garchomp here.
I think you should see Garchomp. The only issue is that Ditto coming in and tracing you, it does force in your Clef, and Matt is a very special, not a very, but a pretty specially defensive Clefable.
Well, the
so
thing
with
is,
one
he can
wrong
protect.
crit, that's true. No, 100%. And I guess if he does have to protect, so yeah, I guess you're completely right, honestly, because he can just protect. If it locks Dragon Claw, he's a free Clef, or he can call the double. And if it locks Earthquake, I'm just staying in on Dragon Clawing.
Yeah, I would hit it just because. He also has Ice Shard in the back, so he's ready for the reverse attempted Garchomp sweep. So he can just Ice Shard and pick it off, because any damage will put that Garchomp in range of Ice Shard.
Oh, 100%. Especially with that Ditto HP number, 100%. So we're going to see what ends up coming out here. Is it going to be the Kartana, because it can live a hit? Presumably live a hit. He doesn't really know that it can live a hit, because we don't know about fire coverage. We are going to see the Kartana come out. I would have gone Ditto. Which is... Maybe Goldoa's just throwing up a Hail Mary saying, hey, I need to hope he doesn't have a fire move, because it will chew up this Earthquake, which is, you know, pretty naturally high defense stat. We are going to see a Leaf Blade come out. It's going to do a ridiculous amount. Yep. It is protective pads, which is good to know for Matt, I suppose. And we are going to see an Earthquake come out right here.
God, what a garbage mon.
So the only issue is, it comes down to a very scary endgame with that that Vanilluxe. Not necessarily because it's going to 2-hit KO Clef or anything like that, but because you kind of have to sit on the field for a little bit, maybe soft boiled out of range and things like that, because your Moonblast isn't going to OHKO the Vanilluxe change, or the Ditto change into the Vanilluxe, and you're obviously risking different freezes and crits and things like that. So endgame is definitely a little bit scary. We're going to see another Leaf Blade come out right here into the Garchomp. I'm somewhat surprised he elected to go for the Protect. Not that Goldoa has shown that he's like sub or anything like that, but I don't think that's something you need to risk right now. On like, you know,
I think he was
Goldoa playing for a
get out
show.
of range.
Oh yeah, definitely not though. That was doing a clean 65% with that first Leaf Blade. But Garchomp is going to go down. We have a very obvious Vanilluxe right here. And actually, if Goldoa elects to switch out his cart on this Vanilluxe, doesn't that put him in a pretty? Doesn't that put Matt in a pretty precarious situation?
It does. It very much does. So I guess
losing that Garchomp could actually be really, really detrimental for Matt right here. So maybe going cart was a better play, because it did force a KO, and now it's a 2v2, and I feel like Goldoa has more wiggle room to kind of play around this Ditto plus Clefable.
I think
if I'm Matt, I'm dropping a Blizzard though.
I think if I was Goldoa, I'd be worried about like. I wouldn't be worried. I'd be thinking that my endgame is Scarf Flash Cannon. But even though
with the Vanilluxe, even though he doesn't have it, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know they have it, but I would think it would be there. I wouldn't think anything else would be there. Okay, so he does switch.
He does make the Vanilluxe play, which is a very good play by Goldoa. Really recognizes his endgame is keeping cart around as well. And we are going to see, and obviously noting that Matt does not switch into Blizzard at this point, but this is still going to do a fat chunk, because it's got Vanilluxe bulk with Ditto HP. Actually does a little bit less than I really thought it was going to, and I think you're forced into a Clef here.
It depends on how much Vanilluxe really does to it, honestly. This is a very, very interesting scenario.
Oh, 100%. I suppose, now, I believe Vanilluxe is, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Vanilluxe's base HP is higher than Ditto's.
I think it's 79. No, that's its speed set. Okay. I think it's still around there, though.
He's going to Blizzard again. This is incredibly terrifying. We are going to see a Blizzard come out here.
Is he going to live? No.
Oh, no. Was that a crit? It was a crit. That's
rough.
Absolutely brutal. Now, I'm assuming Matt made that play. We obviously aren't calculating it. I'm assuming Matt made that play because he presumed that he lived. Now, regardless, a crit there kind of lost Matt the game, because a crit into another Blizzard would have 2-hit KO'd this Clefable. I refuse to believe otherwise. We should see a Thunderwave from Matt come out here, and he has to spam Softboiled until this thing runs out of Blizzards. I don't think he has another play. We are going to see a Blizzard come out, and he has to hope this one doesn't 2-hit KO in conjunction with the Hail chip because he is unaware, and it looks like it might, unfortunately. So maybe just spamming Softboiled was in Matt's best interest.
I don't know if he outspeeds. I don't think he does outspeed a paralyzed thing.
No, he definitely doesn't. Because as long as this is Scarf, we are going to see a Blizzard come out, and that is going to be the game. I don't think this thing's going to live. Unfortunately, it does go down. So I think Matt's play in that instance was to spam Softboiled if he knew that that 2-hit KO'd after the Hail chip or was a roll too. So that he could eventually PP stall that thing out. You just have to avoid those freezes. And as long as he PP stalls it out and he counts those turns, he can potentially Thunderwave the cart on the switch in, and then go from there and maybe potentially win the game because your Clef will beat a Ditto Clef 1v1. So very, very unfortunate endgame for Matt. He was in a very commanding position early on, but I think Goldoa played his few resources very well.
I still think... Oh, Matt can hear us. Hello, Matt.
Hello. Go ahead, finish what you guys were saying. We'll do interview after.
So what I was thinking was that the Glow King sack was probably the big, like, hiccup of the game because you could have saved that and preserved it for a potential Vanilluxe. Going out to Guard Trump on the side shock because it would have done a crazy amount of damage, and I think you still would have been out of range of a Leaf Blade, and then knocking
especially
it out.
Especially after protects.
Yeah.
My thought process with that was, I have nothing that has fire coverage right now. So I think in general we prepped so hard for Kartana, and at the same time completely under prepped for it entirely. And just the fact that I need to have something in the back for it to take a hit from it was like, if I had fire move over protect, would have been fine. If I had flamethrower on Glow King, I think I would have been fine as well. But I felt like I had to just go for the KO on Gardevoir. Like if I went into Clefable, like it's getting destroyed by Gardevoir. It's not going to do anything back to it. It's like, what am I going to do? Go for Thunderwave on the Gardevoir? It's Assault Vest. I'm pretty confident about that. I don't know. I just felt like I felt like the team that I prepped for did not match up well against the team that he brought, mostly because of the goddamn Seismitoad. If that Seismitoad was just a regular ass Seismitoad, it would have been fine. But hey, good prep.
I talked about that. I think that was a great bring by Goldoa. I think that was a phenomenal bring because it forced that chip on Pharaoh because you quite simply just didn't have other pivots into it besides the Pharaoh. You were forced to go into it to check that Seismitoad, and it really opened up a Kartana endgame, or for just Kartana to be able to come in and click a button and kill something every single time. So that was a great bring by Goldoa.
I mean, in a normal situation, I never go Ferrothorn, I think, because I'm worried about like the fighting coverage and everything like that I could run. And when I see sub and I don't have a grass move, I don't think, like, I'm never breaking sub. I knew that. I would have normally, in again, a normal situation, go into Clefable, because Clef can eat any hits, Clef can Moonblast, break the sub, Clef can pressure it out and force something else in, bring a Thunderwave. But I was so like, I need to keep this thing healthy for Life Orb Kartana. And yeah.
I'm gonna go with that Smart Strike.
Yeah.
Another thing that we potentially noticed was in that end game, I do get the Thunderwave, and it might have just been like a miscalc, but I think potentially spamming Softboiled gave you a little bit more of an end game.
You think so?
Versus that Vanilluxe, versus that Ditto turned into a Vanilluxe and that
Right.
Kartana, because you spam Softboiled until he runs out, and I think if you can catch that cart with a Thunderwave from the switch in, or Thunderwave that Vanilluxe and just Softboiled stall till you're out of range of the cart. I don't know if the cart was in range of Moonblast, but your best bet at that point was parrying it and Moonblasting it down, because it has such low SPDF, and I think it might have been in range, especially in conjunction with Hail, but Hail might have been gone by that point as well.
Kartana,
so that was the only other thing I could think.
Kartana was likely a roll. With Hail being around, it was going to be a guarantee, it looks like. But based on what I was thinking, like, listen, I have to go and bank off of not getting the 2-hit KO. And here's the thing, without Hail, he doesn't 2-hit KO. But with Hail, that's when he 2-hit KOs me. So I should have probably prepared for my own opposing Vanilluxe. But honestly, the way this game went out, it felt like I was in a position early on that I was like, I wanted to be in. I got rid of one of his Pokemon. Vanilluxe broke well, but then going into not going for the Blizzard on the Gardevoir was a mistake. I think him going into that, he knows if it's offensive, he gets 2-hit KO'd. He knows if it's defensive, he's going to eat any hit, Mystical Fire me, bring me down super weak. That would have been a problem. I don't think the endgame changes that much because I do get I do get the freeze on the Rotom, which he probably just Volt Switched or something to try and get the KO on me, which would have been nice. But he got the revenge crit on the Vanilluxe, which actually ended up guaranteeing the KO. If he didn't get the crit, it wouldn't have KO'd. But it did. I don't think it mattered at that point. Like I would go for Moonblast, and then it depends on if Kartana is in range, or I'm in range of Kartana's Leaf, an attack with Clef. And looking at it, Smart Strike does, or Leaf Blade does 50 to 59, which is a guarantee, and then Smart Strike. If he goes for Smart Strike, I have my Berry, I live, but he just goes for Leaf Blade, and that's the smarter play. So
yeah, I think it's just as long as just that card had to be in range of that Clef in order for you to win that end game. So maybe over like the Encore, which it's not to say, you know, bad prep, didn't prep for Kartana, because I understand the reasons why we have certain moves. Obviously, Encore is great for really set up scary threats like the you know, the Vulcan, things like that, sitting in the back, or to, you know, take advantage of passivity and things like that. But, you know, obviously Flamethrower in hindsight's 2020 would have been really, really nice in that Clef, because I think that would have potentially
even Fire move on Garchomp. Like imagine if I had a Fire move on Garchomp, getting rid of that thing. Then it's like, okay, he has to transform into my Garchomp against a Scarf Vanilluxe. So it's like, all right, I also have Clef.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you can never lock a move to win.
Right, and I can always just protect. I stall at 1 PP. I can then go into literally anything, and then I click protect again. And I'm good. Like I can just stall at the PP if I need to, and then get the KO after. But hey, it is what it is. He brought a nice team with the Seismitoad was definitely the biggest deal. And Ditto was great. Ditto really, like without Ditto, I don't think he wins the game, because that's the only answer he had to opposing Vanilluxe. Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, thank you for commentating once again. I hope it went well. Thank you all for watching. On top of that, Owen and Josh were requested to come back because they did such a phenomenal job the first time around. So if you guys want to see more people, other people, the same people, let us know down below. If you guys see any ways we can improve this, again, let us know as well. It'd be great. Make sure to check the 2 of them out. Josh recently will have one going up on his channel. I believe it'll have been last week by the time this goes up, or this week. And Owen, I believe, same thing. So that's one that I did myself. So make sure you go check both of them out. Links in the description. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next time.